Hello, lovely people. This is Alok Kumar Datta here. This is my Tableau dashboard that I created uh, on the data that I was assigned to during my internship as a data science and business analytics intern at the Sparks Foundation. Well, before I explain the features of this dashboard, first of all, let me take you to my GitHub profile where I have saved the Python codes that I wrote for cleaning the data. So here we have my GitHub profile, and this is the repository which is dedicated to the Sparks Foundation internship. Let me open the Sparks Foundation, the data file for the terrorist attacks. So yeah, first of all, I imported the CSV file using the read underscore CSV argument provided in the uh, pandas Python module. Then I renamed the few columns as per my convenience, like I renamed the prov state to province state, I month to month, I year to year, G subname to group subname, G name to group, and all of those groups or the columns that I wanted, which I didn't feel quite confident while working. I renamed them using the dot rename argument. Then I replaced the undesired values. Actually, I was going through the data on MS Excel, which is when I encountered with some values like -9 and -99. Um, these data actually would have hampered the result. So using the replace argument, I replaced these values to null values or NaN values. After that, to check whether the redundant values have been eliminated from the data frame, I used min argument, which basically gives the minimum of each and every column in the data frame. Although we don't have the entire data frame here, but we can see that the data frame has minimum value of 0, which basically confirms that the minimum value is 0 and the redundant data frames and data values have been changed or eliminated. Next, I created a new data frame based on the original data frame and selected only those columns which I am supposed to work with. Like I selected year, month, country name, province, state, attack type, claimed attack, weapon used for causing the attack. Also selected um, columns like people wounded, terrorist killed, terrorist wounded, etc. Here, using the dtypes argument of the pandas, I am checking the data types of each and every column. So we can see the data types of each and every column here. Next is since this data is based on true events and includes information like total number of people killed in an attack, number of people wounded, which actually took place in real life, so we cannot guess the data for the null values, or we cannot apply the interpolate argument of pandas. So ultimately, I decided to export the data to an Excel file, because this Excel file will work as the data source for the Tableau dashboard that I showed you earlier. So let us head back to the Tableau dashboard that I created using this cleaned data source. Here we have the data dashboard with the heading Terrorism Around the World from 1970 to 2017. Although this data was provided to us by the Sparks Foundation, but originally this data was collected or obtained from various organizations and project reports like Anti-Abortion Project, Armenian website, CAIN, we have Hijacking DB, and START Primary Collection, State Department Collection 1997, etc. So, first of all, in this dashboard, we have a word cloud. A word cloud that basically gives us information about the countries and the total number of attacks they have faced during the specified time period. And based on this word cloud, we can say that Iraq is the country that has faced maximum number of terror attacks during the specified period, which is followed by Pakistan, and Pakistan is later on followed by Afghanistan. Afghanistan is followed by India. So these are the top four countries: Iran, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and India, where terrorists have literally caused havoc. Because if we see the numbers, the total number of terrorist attacks that have been conducted over the years from 1970 to 2017, it's unbelievable. Like Iraq has almost 22,000 terrorist attacks. India, for instance, has more than 10,000 terrorist attacks. Pakistan has more than 12,000 terrorist attacks. So, moving on to our next chart, which is a packed bubble chart. This packed bubble chart gives us information of terror attacks as per different regions. Like we have Australasia and Oceania region, we have Central Asia, Central America and Caribbean region, Eastern Europe. So this region selected slicer, using this slicer, we can select the region for which we want information. For example, if I want region-wise terrorist attacks in South Asia, we can select that from this drop-down menu, and this slicer will automatically slice the packed bubble chart and show information about terrorist attacks that have been organized in the South Asian region. And so here we have South Asian countries like Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, and also this packed bubble chart not only gives us information about the countries, it also shows us the province in that particular country and the total number of terrorist attacks that have been organized in that particular province of the particular state. For example, here we can see that the Kandahar province in Afghanistan has faced 1011 terrorist attacks, which is a huge number. Next, we have like Balochistan province of Pakistan, which has faced almost, we can say, 3,200 terror attacks. Devastating. For India, we have the state of Jammu and Kashmir, which has more than 2,000 terror attacks. Moving on to our next chart, we have a world view of the terror attacks, and by this chart, we can say that almost the entire world has been plagued by the problem of terrorism. We can see it in the North American continent, in the South American continent, in the Europe, in the Africa, in South Asia, in Russia, China, even in Australia. So the entire world is being plagued by terrorism. Moving on to the next type of chart we have in the list, in the dashboard actually, uh, we have a bar chart which shows terror attacks over the year. And if we see this bar chart, we can clearly see that the year 2014 was the most devastating year for the humankind if we talk about terrorism, because in the year 2014 more than 15,000 terrorist attacks were organized over in the entire world, which is huge beyond, I think, I don't have any word to describe that. Huge will be a very insignificant word, I guess. So yes, that is a huge number of terrorist attacks that the world has faced in the year 2014. Also, we can see there is a gap between the year 1992 and 1994. This is because there is no data for the year 1993 in the data frame that we are working. Next in line, we have the most used method, and we can clearly see that bombing or explosion is the go-to method for the terrorists to organize a terrorist attack, because I guess it is the most used terror attack, most used method for conducting a terror attack, because it is easy to throw away a bomb or plant a bomb. So, and it is next followed by armed assault. Next in line, we have most suffered institutions, and clearly, based on this chart, we can say that the private citizens are and the private properties are the most uh, prominent targets of the terrorists, followed by the military, and which is further followed by police, and followed by business. So private citizens are the most uh, important, or the mostly targeted institutions by the terror attacks. Next, we are focusing now on our country, India, and this stacked bar chart actually shows or gives information about the damage that has been caused by the terrorists over the years from 1970 to 2017. And based on this damage report for India, we can say that year 2017 was the most devastating year for India, because in this year 786 terrorist attacks were conducted in India itself, which resulted in killing 465 people, and 702 people were injured. But our security forces were successful in killing 69 terrorists. If we look at the total number of people killed, then I'll say 1992 was the most devastating year, because as per the data that we are working on, in the year 1992, 1100 people, or more than 1100 people were killed in the terrorist attacks. And if we want to get information about the devastating years as per total number of people wounded, then the year 2006 was the most devastating year, because in the year 2006 more than 2000 people were injured or wounded due to terrorist attacks. Next in line, we have another packed bubble chart, which gives us information about the prominent groups in India, in particular states, and the methods used by those groups to cause havoc in that particular state. So we have this slicer here. Using this slicer, we can select the state for which we want the information, like we want to know the terror outfits active in that state, and the total number of attacks that has been conducted by that terror outfit using a particular method. For say, I live in Jharkhand, so I want to know information about Jharkhand, the terror outfits that are active in Jharkhand, and the methods that are being used by those terror outfits. So let us select Jharkhand from the slicer, and this slicer will automatically give us information about Jharkhand. And based on this packed bubble chart, we can see that the Communist Party of India is one of the largest terror outfit active in India, and they are using basically explosives and firearms as their weapons, mostly used weapons, because the number differs by a very small margin. But yes, these two are the most used methods to conduct terrorist attacks in Jharkhand. If we have other terrorist organizations working in Jharkhand like Maoists, and we have Tritiya Prastuti Committee, we have People's Liberation Front of India, and we also have like People's War Group, Jharkhand Tribal Forces, Jharkhand Jan Mukti Parishad. So yeah, there are different terror outfits that are currently active, or on the basis of this data, active in the state of Jharkhand in India. And this packed bubble chart gives us information about the terror outfits, about the total number of terrorist attacks they have conducted, and the methods they have used for conducting the terrorist attacks in the state of Jharkhand. So that's all. Thank you.